What brings you here today?
We are here for a couple of days before heading to Kenya. We're here today because I've always been a fan of the royal family, and it's just a great part of history.
How do you feel about her death?
It's sad, but what a great life. 96 years old, and she wasn't sick until the very end, so I think it's pretty awesome.
Any highlights from her reign that you would like to point out to the public?
Well, I saw Diana get married at, American time in the early mornings and watched her funeral. And just the Jubilee, just all of it's amazing. And being an American and we don't have a royal family, so we sort of live vicariously through y'all's.
What do you guys have?
I don't like what we have. We have Trump and Biden. We're in trouble.
Is there any words you want to say to the people mourning the loss of the Queen Elizabeth?
Just that we're all thinking about you, and I hope that Charles will follow in his mother's very large footsteps.
Bit of a bonus question here.
Uh-oh.
What do you think about Prince Andrew?
I think he's a pedophile.
Think he was safeguarded?
I think he, as well as a lot of others, were safeguarded. I think when he killed himself in prison, a lot of people took a big sigh of relief.
You mean Jeffrey Epstein?
Yes, when he killed himself, I think a lot of people got away with doing some pretty hideous things.
So why do you think the royal family have so many ties with Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew being involved in that friendship?
Well, you can't control what one person does. I don't think the royal family should. I think he's a bad seed, but that doesn't make everybody bad. So.
But why do you think he got away with it?
Well, they all did. He's not the only one. I think a lot of people got away with it. So I'm not gonna punish them because he got away with it. A lot of people got away with it. He wasn't the only one. So if everybody else went down and he didn't, then I'd be shame on the royal family. But that's not the case. A lot of people got away with doing some pretty hideous things.
Prince Andrew is her son, right?
Is Elizabeth's son, yes. I'm not a mother, so I can't walk in those footsteps, but I would imagine that's still her child. Think about mothers who have murderers, and it's still their child. So.
Would you not say the same about the children that were affected by Andrew?
I do, but again, if he were you can't throw the royal family under the bus without throwing everybody under the bus. A lot of people got away with it.
Do you reckon we should throw everyone underneath the bus?
I think they all should be arrested and get their upcomings, but it's not going to happen.
Why?
Money and power.
Can I ask her a question?
Yeah, probably get more sense out of it.
Ruby, how do you feel about the Queen's death?
She wasn't happy about the train up here. She mithered all the way up.
Thank you, Ruby. What brings you guys here today?
Just to pay our respects.
Pay respects and say goodbye to the lady.
Yeah. Vince and I have known each other all our lives, and we're old friends that are. We're patriots, and this is a very special day. Very special day.
And how do you feel about the monarchy?
I hope it's going to be in good hands going forward. It's been in great hands for the last period of time, so I'm a monarchist. And we discussed it on the way up. We might be a bit more Elizabethan than monarchist.
I'm a bit more of an Elizabethan. I think that
We'll see what they do.
our wonderful Queen earned the respect of the people, but the next generation have to earn that respect.
Step up to the plate.
Could you give me some highlights of a rule?
There's just so many. Not just there in the hard times where, national tragedies like, the 7/7 bombing or going back during the Troubles. We're old enough to remember the Troubles in Northern Ireland and the bombs and the impact that it had and the way she was able to rise and make amazing contributions, speeches at times of national tragedy and celebration. Again, we've all recently seen it, but the James Bond.
I wouldn't pick out anything specifically. I'd say it's more of a consistency and putting the country first, putting the country forward, especially on the international scene. I would say it's a consistency over that period that stands out more than anything in particular. She's just been great throughout.
Under her reign, the UK has actually become way more diverse.
That's obvious.
It's
yeah,
obvious.
as obvious. The whole planet's shifted around during that period of time. and you have to say we've probably benefited from that as well. Even the monarchy itself has become a little bit more diverse. So yeah, of course it has.
It's been fantastic. In our lifetime, it's been the biggest change.
Would you say long live the king?
Well, long live the king. Exactly. It's yes. The Queen is dead. Long live the king.
Is there anything you want to say to Britain whilst they're mourning?
Stick with it. Stick with the changes. This country's got a habit of recovering and recovering well. So yeah, stick with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Keep calm. Carry on.
Tell us a little about yourselves.
Just Londoners.
Just a couple of Londoners that have
South Londoners.
scammed their way through life
That's right.
and still scamming it.
Yeah, played rugby and cricket together all our lives. And Vince has a son who served in the army.
Son in the army. And
Yourself, buddy, what do you work as?
Yeah, well, lots of different things. I currently run a recruitment business. I'm getting back into it because a couple of years ago I stood for Mayor of London. My name's Steve Kelleher, and they voted for the wrong SK.
he did actually stand for Mayor of
I did
London.
actually stand for Mayor of London, yeah. But no, this
Me
is
and
a special
3 others
time.
voted for him.
Yeah, that made 4. In fact, my wife wasn't so keen on it. But no, we're here on a special day, and it's an amazing end of siècle, and let's hope a continuation.
1/3 of the people going to kill is written Revelation 9:18.
In the Bible.
It is in the Bible. So you have to believe Jesus. Jesus told in Bible, if you believe me, I will give you eternal life.
And are you here to spread that message today? Or?
Yeah, I spread the word all over the world. I go India, I go America, wherever I go, I say this word. Because these are the last 2 days. Maybe tomorrow, maybe happen. We don't know.
And how do you feel about the Queen's death?
Yeah, this is very sad because we lost a big soul. Yeah, see, helping lot of the people, not only people, that all over the world, the poor people, save. This we lost that one. It's very sad, very sad. Yeah. Anyway, God give the glory to Queen, in heaven.
Okay. So you're saying the world might end any day
Yeah,
now.
this last 2 days, sir.
So do you reckon?
We don't know what when it's happened. Maybe tomorrow it will happen. We don't know. The Bible says maybe tomorrow. Yeah. So you have to say all people, throughout the people, be ready because Jesus is coming back.
Do you think her death was a warning?
Yeah, this is the one.
What brings you here today?
Well, I work nearby, but like everyone else here today, I just wanted to come and feel something about being in this place with thousands of other people that are here today. It was a great shock yesterday, not a surprise, but a shock, and just wanted to experience it with everyone else that's here today.
How do you feel about the Queen's death?
It's hard. I'm feeling a lot more than I thought I would feel. You know, she's like everybody's sort of great aunt or great grandmother or something, and you know, I'm of an age as well. But it's extraordinary. It's a loss. It feels like a loss. It's not rational, but that's how it feels. And of course, I mean, I'm what am I now? 67, and she's been my queen all my life, even though I'm 67. So it's an extraordinary feeling.
And the country's going to feel the effects of her death in the next coming few days.
Well, I think we will, because so much will be cancelled, and the focus will be entirely on this in this country. You know, meanwhile there's a war going on, and people are suffering from the cost of living crisis and so on, and the focus will shift back to that at some stage. But the next couple of weeks, with this period of national mourning ending up with her funeral, which I think is on Monday the 19th, this is what people will be thinking about for this time, and then life has to go on after that. Absorb what's going on. Nobody will see the like of this again in their lifetimes, young or old. You know, even when the king dies and so on, this is a unique moment, and I think, you know, just soak it all in. Whether you're a Republican or a monarchist, this is very, very unusual, and so in your own way, mark the occasion.
Long live the king.
Long live the king. Yeah.
Why are you here today?
To show my respect to an amazing woman who represents everything's good about humanity, the complete opposite of the lies, the narcissism of Boris Johnson. Couldn't have a bigger contrast, someone who's honest, decent, and into public service and duty. Such a wise, precious individual that will be sadly missed.
I think she was in favour of supporting Boris Johnson and his rule over the United Kingdom?
One of the reasons she was so brilliant was she was so apolitical. So we publicly never knew what her views were. But to me, personally, she stood for principles, duty and service.
You don't think the Queen's a political figure?
Of course she's a political figure, but she did not appropriately, given she's head of state and under the Constitution, get involved in political issues publicly. The Queen is dead, long live the King.
What brings you here today?
Well, I normally live in Australia. I happen to be in England at this time. I arrived almost as the news broke that the Queen had died, which is very sad because she has been Queen for most of my life. And I'm 76 and she's been the Queen for almost all of those years. So she is someone who has been exceptionally special already in terms of the dignity and her sort of sense of duty, but also I think because she does have a fantastic smile and a sense of humour, which gives her humanity, which is so important in public figures. So I think she will be greatly missed.
Are you a British citizen or are you originally from Australia?
I'm both. I'm a British and Australian citizen.
Could you give us any highlights of her rule that really stuck out to you?
Well, I wasn't here in England when she was on her coronation, although I did see it on TV. I think obviously there have been a number of events, some of which have been difficult for the royal family, but actually I don't think it's those events which stand out. The thing that stands out is her persistent dignity and attention to people, and the fact that she has really been a figurehead. I think it'll be very hard to match. I think that's really what stands out.
And Prince Charles is up to the task.
Well, I think that's always difficult to know, and I don't envy him the task. Only time can tell, and probably it's going to take a while for people to readjust. I think it's important to have someone who has been as the Queen, this is above politics, and just really a figure for a nation and more than a nation, really.
People blaming her death and trying to compare it to the cost of living crisis going on right now. How do you feel about this?
Well, I think it's really inappropriate because, unfortunately, in this society now, everyone is very willing to attribute blame to others, and I think that says little for them. And it's easy to seek, to put it on to other people. Now, and not to look at the positives. I think that's very short-sighted, self-indulgent, and actually don't think it's good.
Specifically regarding what's going on today, it's the high footfall of public stuff. You need a press pass, a red wristband, which says that and a time slot to be able to actually film in this general area.
And where can I get this?
So you can see all the white tents.
Yeah.
That's the designated media area.
Can you go get accredited though?
I'm not too sure in terms of what's going on there. We've just been told obviously it's all parks regulations.
Okay, so without a press pass, no filming.
Yeah, so we need to allow the public space to grieve and to spend time, and we need to make sure there's enough space for people to do that without press being everywhere. So
Okay.
there's rural parks regulations in place to ensure that people can
And is this just in this space here outside
So
of
any
the
rural
Palace?
parks area, anywhere basically within these walls and then down in the park as well.
In Hyde Park?
Anywhere that's Royal Parks,
Okay, so where does the area end?
outside the Royal Parks,
Royal Park.
you can't film.
We need to allow the nation to grieve. We need to give people space.
But we're here to document that because this is a one in a
But
lifetime thing.
a lot of the press have paid for passes to be
I don't
able
believe
to
in
film.
paying for journalism that isn't journalism.
That's just
I
part-
understand,
it's-
but in order to
it's the
facilitate
regulation.
people's grieving, they've had to regulate it, and the way they've regulated it is by putting that restriction in place. And we need to give the people space. So if you go further down the mall, further down towards the back, that's out of the area. It's mainly this bit in front of the palace
Cool.
itself.
Is that just so is that just interviewing or is that just camera as a
That's-
whole?
Commercial filming.
Commercial
But not
filming,
commercial.
tripods.
But in terms of 4 types of filming.
Okay.
If
So
it's for
non-personal
personal,
use.
yeah.
Tripods, any kind of formal setup,
Even personal
interviews,
use, so
cameras.
so that rule applies to the thousands of people out here with their phones out right
so
now.
no, that's okay. People
Okay.
can personally film. If it's non-personal, so if you're sharing it to an audience of people, if you're setting up official equipment, cameras, tripods, if you're doing interviews, or if you're giving commentary,
Okay.
that would be included within
So
it.
what's personal with everyone being engaged on social media? It's not really personal, is it? It's accessible by anyone.
I understand what you mean, but you've got a microphone, you're speaking about it, you're making commentary.
Everyone's phone here has a microphone.
So
when
we're
they
not,
press
we're
record,
not trying to be
that's-
difficult. We can get a member of the Royal Parks Police to actually explain the regulations to you. We've just been here to obviously make sure that everybody here can kind of have their space to grieve and just...
Fair enough. We've
Yeah.
respectfully asked people
So-
if they want to be interviewed anyway. But
it's
yeah,
it's all right, guys.
look, let's just cool. All right, thank you. Have a good day. Yeah. A few words about Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah, she was an amazing woman. Many people didn't believe in people like us, but she did. God bless her soul. Amen.
Okay, so what brings you here today?
Oh, actually, we're here to attend the royal graduation at the Royal College of Anaesthetists for my daughter, who's graduating today at Westminster. And by chance, very unfortunately, the Queen has passed away, so we're proud, really, to be part of today down here, just in effect walking past for a very big day of our own.
I think the fact that she's just been so kind of noble and kind to everyone, and anyone who has met her always says that she's so kind and polite, and I think that's just a really good role model.
Any highlights from her reign that particularly stick out to you?
So I just say kind of in my lifetime everything I've seen has just been kind of her more publicly, but the kindness that she's just shown to everyone that she's met, I'd say, is just what sticks with me.
And how do you feel about the way the media represents her in England?
Yeah, I think they represent her well, and I think they kind of respect what the people feel for her as well.
Say to the people that are mourning at home right now.
Just look to the future, really, and, focus on your own families, everything that she stood for, and try to move forward and let this be a part of history that was always going to be.
So what brings you here today, buddy?
Well, the loss of Her Majesty after the 83 years I've known her, in the sense of my age, that to celebrate her life from the duty that she gave us as a United Kingdom, and her duty and her looking after us in that sense as a monarch. And we look upon her really as a sort of a grandmother to me, on the basis she's such a wonderful person of duty and understanding, and to keep a country together. I think she's been brilliant. Service and duty. After all these years, it's sad to see her go, but we have now a new king now, so I'm sure he'll carry on exactly the same way she did, because he's learned his lessons over 73 years. So we look forward to a new man and celebrate her life.
Long live the king.
Long live the king.
How do you feel about the timing of her death?
Well, I think it was becoming inevitable that her age and her continued incapacity was leaning towards the problems of her health. And I think that she was absolutely amazing that 2 days ago she inaugurated a new Prime Minister. And now she died 2 days later. I think her life was brilliant, and I think the way she went was in keeping, if you like, with her lifestyle. That no fuss, no problem, and she just passed on with great dignity.
Is there any highlights in a rule in a reign over England that stick out to you the most?
No, I think for the 83 years I've been alive, and I saw her coronation when I was 13, that she's continued in such a manner. There's nothing exceptional. She was exceptional in the sense that everything was done well.
Did you ever meet her?
No, I never met her, but I saw her twice when I was one on duty in the army, when I was on a parade, and then in one or two establishments in this country, in the Cutty Sark. I saw her once when she opened up with Philip. I never met her, no. One doesn't meet the Queen that easily.
Thank you so much for your time today.